It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development, and I will say revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Rachel. She'll be talking about financial freedom. I mean, the fastest path to living your dream life. Is that even possible? What's going on, Rachel? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on your show. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for being here. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for allowing us to broadcast into your home right now. I know you have a lot of options, so we appreciate you tuning in. Without you, we don't have a show. But you might be like me if you're at home right now and are listening to the podcast, or maybe we're streaming on your mobile device. You might be curious, like financial freedom. What does that even mean these days? Good question. Well, let's ask Rachel. Rachel, financial freedom, it can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. What is financial freedom these days?
Yeah, so in terms of financial freedom, I would say it's just having the freedom to do whatever you want. Like my main freedoms are financial freedom, time freedom, and travel freedom. So with financial freedom, people think of money, and it does include money definitely, but that's not the main thing. So with money, it just opens up the doors for a lot of different things. It gives you options, it gives you decisions. You can eat whatever you want, you can wear whatever you want, you can go wherever you want. So financial freedom is very important and it should be the goal for everyone.
I like it, the goal for everyone. So if I can jump right into it, we'll get into her background in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you have already reading her bio. You're trying to find out who she is. You're Googling her. Don't worry, we'll get into her backstory. But I'm curious. Take a moment and talk to the person that says, wow, I want to get there. But I'm at a place called, let's call it financial security. So financial security, this is the Shea Brown view of the world, means they're just trying to get the first 6 to 12 months in the bank. They're like, man, if I can just get 6 months in the bank, what would you say to that person that's going through some challenging times? Now, again, it's a loaded question, but just in theory, they have to get started. What's one or two ideas you would recommend to them so they can at least get 6 months in the bank so they feel, let's call it secure. And then we'll come back and talk to someone that wants to be independent. They're ready to make their money, make money.
Yes. So the first thing I would say is get into the financial service industry, because the way you're going to learn about any topic or any industry is by getting into it. So for me, I came into the financial service industry, specifically life insurance, retirement, and annuities, because by getting in that industry, I'm learning. And something I did learn is what industry produces the most millionaires. And you could even Google that right now. You're going to see it says the financial service industry. And that's what I do. Okay. That's what the Rockefellers did. That's what the Vanderbilts did to build that financial freedom, create generational wealth, to create legacy for their families. So the first thing I would say is get into the life insurance industry, specifically life insurance, because it teaches you more than what people think it is. Because when people think of life insurance, they think of death automatically. But life insurance is so much more than that. We educate people and teach people how to leverage life insurance while they're still living. You can buy a car with life insurance. You can pay off credit card debt, student loans. You can do whatever you want. If you have like health issues, you can use life insurance for that. And it's not only when you pass away. Yeah, it's great because you get to leave a legacy for your family. You get to leave something for your family, but you can also use those things while you're still alive. So that's a lot of people don't know, and that's why we like to educate people on this. And it's just so important to know.
Yeah. Here's another loaded question. Why are folks so afraid of the financial arena? So afraid of like life insurance? I always heard, you just need it when you die. And you said, no, that's not the case. So why are there so many folks out there that are still so afraid or fearful or just not knowledgeable on the financial services industry? What do you think holds them back?
The thing is education. It's lack of education. They don't really know much about it. And even for me, before I got into the industry, I got approached about getting life insurance. And I'm thinking, well, I don't plan on dying yet, so I don't really need to focus on that. But that's because I wasn't properly educated about it. And it's because it's when I got into this industry that I learned the truth about life insurance and why it's important to even get it. Because the younger, the healthier you are, it's the best time to get it. Because oftentimes when you're older, when you're unhealthier, that's when people want to start focusing on final expenses or getting life insurance. But because you're older and may be unhealthier, your monthly premium is going to be higher. So I always encourage people, the younger, the healthier you are, just get something in place, even if it's something small, because you never know what could happen. For instance, we had a 25-year-old guy. He got $1 million term policy. That's what he could afford at the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he was healthy, he was married, no kids or anything like that. So he got his $1 million policy. A couple of months later, he passed away in his sleep. So at the time of getting the life insurance policy, he was healthy, which is great. So that's why he got approved for it. He passed away in his sleep a couple of months later, and then his wife called us and said, "Hey, I'd like to access the $1 million death benefit because my husband just passed away." So we looked in our system to find out that a couple of weeks prior he canceled his policy. So guess what he had to do? He had to go get a GoFundMe account, or she had to do a GoFundMe to, properly bury her husband because, for whatever reason, he canceled the policy. Now, I don't know why he canceled the policy. Maybe he probably thought, well, I'm still young, I'm still healthy. I'd rather put this money somewhere else, We don't know. And that's really why GoFundMe goes popular for all the wrong reasons because people aren't educated on life insurance. So that's why we like to teach and educate people on it.
I love it, man. It says so well. Some folks are meeting you for the very first time. Others, you're famous all over the world. I get it. And then some folks say, actually, I don't know who this person is. I like what I'm hearing, but what's her backstory? Like, who am I talking to? So take a moment, if you would, the question, what's your backstory? And then you kind of gave a little bit earlier, but what's that defining moment that led you to be so passionate about helping folks live a financially free life?
Yes. So my background, a little bit about me. I am from Brooklyn, New York. I moved to Orlando, Florida when I was 7. So you'll hear some people say, "Oh, you're not from New York, you're from Florida." But that's okay. I love Florida. But yeah, so after, living in New York, in Florida for a couple of years, I joined the Army. So I was in the Army for 8.5 years. I got out, attended the University of Central Florida, UCF. That's my alumni college because at the time my goal was to pursue a career as a physician assistant. So I started to see how the Western medicine was because I myself was diagnosed with an illness, fibroids. And because the way I saw how I wasn't getting the proper treatment that I preferred, so it changed my mindset about joining, the medical industry. So I started my own vegan hair care line called Glamour Blvd, where I teach and educate people about natural hair, about, different styles and how they can grow long hair, especially for Black and brown people. And so I have that. And then I was approached about getting life insurance. And like I said, at the time, I wasn't too interested, but I still got it because I knew how important it was. And then I got into the industry. And when I started learning more about it, I really became passionate about it because financial empowerment is like one of my big missions. And I don't feel like it's taught enough. So I just want to be that person to educate people and teach people about it in a fun and simple way.
I like making it fun. I like making it simple, and I like making it in a way that they can kind of pick up. By the way, um,
Yeah.
for the person out there that's saying, "Is this an investment?" Which I think you said a couple of different ways. We talked to someone who was looking for financial security. Let's talk to a person that's financially independent, and what's that definition, Shay? My definition of financially independent means they got 6 months in the bank. They're able to pay their bills. There's more money left over and might have a few investments. And they'd be like, I've been thinking about this insurance thing, playing around with it, but I haven't really done it. And there's cash flow to do it. Um, what would you say to that individual or couple that's listening right now? It's like, maybe now is the time. But they're looking to be financially independent, so they want their money to help make them money. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So definitely. So it is an investment. For the short answer, it is an investment, and it's just like almost any other investments. You know, it will make you money because it compounds at a higher amount. So it's very different than just leaving your money in the savings account, because at the end of the year, we'll probably get back what 0.001%. But guess what the banks are doing with our money? They're investing in life insurance. So every bank has a life insurance for their bank. They're using our money without our consent, and they're making, millions, billions. It's $1 trillion industry. So what we do is teach people how to do it themselves. Use life insurance to create wealth, not only for you now, or not only for your family when you pass away, but for you now. You can do that now. So it is an investment. And, like I said before, people like to wait till the last minute to get it. Prime example, we had a woman, my senior broker, she was approaching another woman about getting life insurance, and the woman kept putting it off. So eventually she was diagnosed with kidney failure, and it was rapid. It started to increase rapidly. And so she no longer qualified. But if she had just gotten it when my senior broker approached her about it, she would have been good to go. But because she was diagnosed and it was rapidly increasing, she was no longer, you know, um, she wasn't able to get it anymore. She didn't qualify.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Tough story there.
Yeah.
As you're listening now, for the folks that are out there, they're like, man, Shay, she seems so excited. She seems so happy. I'm curious, what's one of the reasons she decided to participate in the Miss Corporate America pageant? Something entirely different. So it's really a two-part question. How did you hear about it? And then what really piqued your interest to take time away from your family, take time away from what you want to do to be a participant in this? Yeah, how'd you hear about it? And what's the reason you decided to participate?
Yeah, so the way I heard about it is I attended a competition last year about it. And so, a couple of people were saying, "Oh, you should run for this," because I'm very like girly. I love my pinks and stuff like that. And even though I'm in the career that I'm in, right? And so, I kind of brushed it off, and I was like, "Oh, okay," but never really entertained the thought of doing it until this year. I kept seeing it all over my feed, all over my social media. And then at one point, I was going to go ahead and register and see if I could, make it. But then I just like clicked out of the screen and got distracted by something else. I don't know. But it just kept coming up again. So I just decided, okay, let me just see what it's about. And I just went ahead and did it.
Congratulations, by the way. I was there, so it's great
Yeah.
seeing you. And now seeing you on this side is even more amazing. We can't skip over the fact you brushed over because you're so humble. The fact of Glamour Boulevard. I mean, you took a chance as an entrepreneur. You launched this vegan line. Here's the question: how are you able to be fearful and still take action? Right? I mean, people think hair products. I mean, is that thing oversaturated? Isn't there too many folks out there? So here's the question: what was one reason you decided to move forward with it? And number two, how are you able, like in the face of fear, to still take some action, to still move forward?
In terms of the Glamour Boulevard, you saying, or Miss Corporate
Yes,
America? Oh, okay.
Glamour Boulevard.
Okay, yeah. So I decided to do that because my older sister, that's when Instagram started becoming popular. I only had Facebook as social media, and she was saying, "Hey, you should get on Instagram." And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to know another social media." And she said, "Well, we have all these girls, they're like showing their natural hair, and I just think, that's something you should do since you're so much into your hair." And so I created an Instagram page, and it was mostly about hair. And so at the time I was looking for a product that's like more holistic, more natural, healthy for me. And I couldn't really find any good moisturizing products on the market without all these ingredients with names that you can't even pronounce and stuff. So I figured I'd just create my own. So I started out with a shea butter, and then I was just posting it just to post it on Instagram, showing my hair. And I even have like a YouTube channel, Glamour Boulevard, that I created of me doing my hair, teaching women how to do their hair. And so people started DMing me and saying, "Hey, if you make me a shea butter, I'll buy some." But I didn't think they were serious. And then so more people kept DMing me, and I was like, "Oh wow, these women are serious." So I just started making some in private and just selling it to them on social media, to my family. And that's really how the business started. So I guess it was like a good accident, so to speak.
I like that, by the way. And the good accents are good. And it's a perfect segue to a segment that we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. In fact, you can go ahead and say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you. For all the other folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate you allowing us to stream and be a part of your evening. Today is our January 1st is our personal mantra here at the show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer really equals the future. So my question for Rachel is really two parts. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, was there ever a setback you had? Her life seems to be perfect, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, she just goes along and everybody else has problems but her. But let's just find out, was there ever a setback you had in your life? And if so, how were you able to bounce back from it?
Yeah, okay. So when I think of January 1st, I think of something new, something fresh, something I'm excited about because I get like a do-over, so to speak. And I did have a setback in my life or a challenge. And it was, I mentioned I had fibroids. So that was my setback. And that allowed me to look at the world very differently because, we're used to Western medicine, we're used to going to the doctors, getting taken care of, And so when I had the fibroids, that was a huge challenge in my life. It caused anemia, my hemoglobin was like 4.5, like I could have had a stroke, the doctor said, so it just took me down the rabbit hole on, the whole holistic world. So I became very health conscious, and I said, no way, there's no way they're going to cut me open. I haven't had any kids yet, so I didn't want to do it the Western medicine way. So I went about it the holistic way. I did a lot of research, and I got rid of it holistically without surgery, the healthy way, the natural way. So that was a big setback. It took me 7, 8 years because I was my own guinea pig. So, and that's actually how I created my own coaching program. I don't have any clients yet. Yeah, it's called the Happy Uterus Academy, where I teach and educate women how to get rid of fibroids holistically and naturally without surgery, because a lot of women don't want to go that route, um, specifically myself as well. And so,
Wow, you're very passionate, by the way, about what you do and how you do it. You mentioned that you have a coaching program. Take a moment, if you would, and talk about what's the name of the program and what's the mission and goals and objectives of your coaching program helping women.
yes, absolutely. So the name of the program is the Happy Uterus Academy. And my mission and goal is to teach women how to heal their bodies holistically. And it's not only for women with fibroids like I had, but it's for PCOS, any reproductive illness. Okay. Because I I have like a lot of different meals, smoothies, a lot of detoxes, cleanses. Because when we go to the doctor, yeah, they give us medicine, but that's not solving the root problem. It's just pacifying the symptom. So we just need more than just medication, because taking medications can cause other things as well. So, yeah, so that's my mission to, allow women to heal their bodies on their own through my coaching program, like I did without surgery or any complications like that.
You seem to really enjoy doing what you're doing, by the way. Thanks for having the program. What do you enjoy
Yes.
most about what you're doing these days? I can hear the passion coming out. I can hear the excitement come out. It seems like you would just, you really, really enjoy this. I guess the question is, what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
I love serving my community and empowering women and families about financial empowerment, financial literacy. A lot of people don't talk about it much. So I just want to be the person to talk about it, to teach people about it, and just help people about it in general. Yeah.
So, one of my favorite questions I like to ask when we have a few minutes, and we have a few minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? Now, we're not going to ask you to come off the mountain with the 10 Commandments or anything. And you've read so many books. You served in the military. Thank you so much for serving our country. We
Thank you.
appreciate that, by the way. I know you have a lot of mentors and videos. I mean, they say 10,000 hours, but I probably do that on my thumb on the weekend these days. So I know you may have watched a lot of videos. But if you had to step back
Yeah.
and say, Shay, this is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given, what would it be and why?
I would say the best advice that I've ever received was from my English teacher, Mr. Lukey, in Evans High School. That's the high school I went to. Was he wrote in my yearbook? It was never settle for second best because I'm a self-diagnosed introvert. I don't really like to, put myself out there, talk in public and stuff. But when he said that, it really resonated with me because I always prefer to be the person that's like behind the scene. And so when he said that, I thought to myself, like, wow, okay. So number one is the goal. So in everything I do, I always strive to be number one.
I like that. Everything you do, number one, all in or don't do it at all. I like that. Um, what do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, when you're not out making a difference for other folks and help people understand financially how they can be free and help people with their hair? Like, what do you do to relax?
Well, I love to read. I definitely love to read. I love reading. I like watching a lot of YouTubes. I'm not like a big movie person. I'll watch movies. I love like suspense, um, you know, drama, not like ghetto or bad drama or anything like that, but like, suspenseful type of, Denzel type of movies or, drama and suspense. I like watching certain movies, but mostly YouTubes. I feel like I'm a student for life. So I love learning educational stuff about like health, um, personal development, growth development, wealth, so stuff like that. Reading. Yeah.
Now you can't leave us with I love reading, and that tells one of the last books you read or one book you read that's really impact not the Bible, but a book you might have
Yeah.
read recently. Like, oh, I really like that book. Like, matter of fact, y'all should
Yeah.
go get that book. I mean, I don't know, but what type of reading do you like doing? If it was one of the books,
Yeah, so one of my favorite books is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I love that book. A lot of self-help books. I like currently reading Seven Habits of the Highly Effective People. I like that book. But yeah, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, I think everyone should read that book. Everyone. It's a must read. And I've read it a couple of times, so it's a good book to read.
wow, well said. As we come down the home stretch, two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any? And number two, how can folks connect with you? Like, where should they go to connect with you and stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have now?
Yeah. So the type of clients I'm looking to work with are women and families because in families, men unfortunately are the first to leave. Women tend to live longer. So I like to help and educate women on how they can be protected. That way, if something happens, their whole family is protected. I like to work with business owners, athletes, and really all type of people, but those are like my main niches. And where people can find me is on Instagram at Insured with Rachel. I have my link tree and they can get more information about me. Also on Facebook, Rachel Michaud. They can find me on there as well.
Wow. Well, let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. You've given us the most valuable piece of information or time you had, which you gave us your time. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter really what's going on in your life, whether you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming or you're going to that next level of success. You're right there on it. One thing I believe is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Jay Brown. It hasn't changed. The Happy Entrepreneur. We out of here. Peace. Thanks a lot, Rachel. We'll see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye.